Ladies and gentlemen, this is the issue 3, page 2425. Director's commentary. I am Keenan Lafferty.
I'm Colton Crester.
And we're going to be talking about some things.
So, yeah, let's jump right into it. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
Get right into that.
All right, so before we get into the time lapse, we need to talk about the original vision.
Yes.
Of where this all started.
Because it very
sure
well differs.
Everybody is familiar with this picture right here. As we literally just finished this about 20 minutes ago, and we're recording it right now. But
yes,
it didn't start like this. It started like this. This is what we started with many, many moons ago. Actually, a couple weeks ago, but...
It was a little over a month ago we decided to...
Yeah.
We sat down, because we drew this out when we sat down and wrote out those other pages.
Yeah, but I've been waiting to, like, illustrate this scene for so long. Like, since the beginning of this, like, knowing that there was going to be a cruise ship and, like, Emma was going to see it as something different, I was super excited. So this is where it started, and then... we kind of got it to this point. This is where I started to refine a little bit more, kind of figured out the values and all that stuff, and basically everything kind of stayed the same. I mean, you got this guy with the little plate there, and then
the guy with the plate stayed the same, and the curtains pretty similar.
But let's go ahead and get into the time lapse, and I'll talk a little bit about some of the changes that happened as we went through this, and some of the things that I was kind of wanting to do. So
look at that perspective grid. Look at that.
Yeah. The first thing that I started doing was I was like, all right, I'm going to tackle 2-point perspective this time. Because usually I just get away with 1 point. But this one is just very, very slight 2-point. It's actually so slight that you kind of didn't notice it at the end. It's subliminal. It's up here. It's
here. You're there,
like, this
but
looks
you just
better than
you
usual.
don't see it. Yeah.
But I don't know why. Yeah, so some of the ideas that I had in the beginning was, I was just really playing around with the architecture, like figuring out how I was going to make this work. A lot of the problems that I had in the beginning, like especially like back here, was the ballroom looked way too open. It looked just like a big flat floor.
Yeah.
And, I wanted it to feel a little bit more like, I don't know, like cozy. I don't know, like
warm.
Pillars. Yeah, I just envisioned like more like pillars and things kind of sticking overhead with the roses and the plants. In fact, right here, I'm actually drawing out a floor plan of exactly what I want the thing to be. So it's like, here's where Emma and Nico are walking in.
Yep.
There's like this balcony, the stage, people dancing, and then all the tables. And this actually really helped. I didn't think it was going to help me out that much, but surprisingly.
No, I was going to say, we did the same thing when we did Nico's bedroom. Yeah. We sat down at the kitchen table and we drew out a floor plan of what Nico's bedroom looks like.
Yeah.
So it was a little,
I totally forgot that we did that. Yeah, we did just a really simple layout of
like, I think his bed would go here, Tessa doors here, stuff, so.
That works, man. Like, we got to do that. Every time we have like an interior shot, we're going to do that now. We're gonna
draw it up, draw up a little.
That's the way we roll.
Sketch.
Yeah. So right now, all I'm doing is I'm working in this blue, but it's just basically just working with values. Trying to make sure that I'm staying true to my grid, laying that over top. And then halfway through, I realized something, because originally I was going to have the characters open the doors, and then we were just going to see it through the characters' eyes. Like, we were seeing it through the characters' eyes. Emma and Nico were not here, and there were no panels on the sides here. And I was like, this is cool, but it doesn't look like it's from my comic necessarily. Like, the style looks like it's from it, but unless it just followed the last page, you wouldn't know.
Yeah, and then I remember he was working on it, and the panels weren't there. And then the first thing he drew were, like, the 2 panels, and then we liked those, and so we were like, okay, yeah, those work really good. Let's keep those there. And then it was like, well, what if there's, like, a lot of space here?
Yeah, there's a lot of space over here.
Like, what if we just toss the 2 of them in there? I was like, let's try it. Let's see how it works. And then we did, and it ended up looking awesome.
Yeah, it looked really good. I was really happy with that. Yeah, so after that, I was really satisfied, because now you can look at it and be like, yes, that is Emma, that is Nico. This is from Emma, the online comic. And it's very, very clear what's happening here.
Yes. And
I just like drawing the kids. Like, they're so much fun to draw. I like drawing the older people too, but in fact, that was a big challenge. That was something that was going through my head. I was like, am I going to be, like, I haven't drawn a lot of adult faces in this yet.
In this style.
Yeah, I mean, I've drawn Tank and I've drawn Tank and Clem, but none of these other faces. So I was a little bit worried, but I realized later, I was like, oh, well, I actually only have to draw that waiter's face, because everybody's
facing the other way.
Turning the other way. Actually, there's 2 people over here that have faces too, but it's just really, it ended up not being as challenging as I thought it was going to be. The challenge in this one was actually just coming up with the body language, like having the characters walk and like carrying the food and everything. And I was a waiter at Olive Garden, so I have really good references for this. I was like, yes, this is how I would carry the tray, you know, like balancing the weight if I was actually doing this. So
that was the worst. When I was a waiter, I same thing.
Yeah.
Like you'd have to hold it and it'd be super sketchy, except at the restaurant that I worked at, if there was, I think there was like a certain number of plates you had to like absolutely have to take a tray, and they'd make you carry them on your arms.
What?
So you'd have to.
What restaurant was this?
At Wingers.
Oh, Wingers.
I used to wait at Wingers, so you'd have to carry them on your arms. But what sucked is those plates would be hot as Satan, so I'd come home with like burn marks, like it would burn your arms.
I remember that
blister and stuff. And
I was like, how do people do this? Like, the plates were so hot,
super hot.
Yeah.
Like I'd run over to the table and be like, get out of the way! Like I gotta put this down. It's hot.
Yeah, it was scary, man.
Well, you want to talk about? You said that I don't remember if you changed it or what went on, but one of the waiters' things had so much stuff on it, and you couldn't get it to look right. Or something like that.
Yeah. Originally, the waiter on the right, the big waiter on the right, he had a bunch of stuff on his.
In the beginning there was tons.
Yeah, there was just a bunch of stuff, and I realized later I was like, I don't know, I just wanted to simplify it a little bit more. Let's like put a bottle of champagne and the bucket of ice, right? Because I had to take those out working from reference at Olive Garden. And I tried to make sure that everything was... Why is it not skipping? You should go to the next one. Yeah. There we go. But just making sure the weight was all just weighed up properly. Like, it would look really weird if that bottle of wine was, like, on the edge. Like, there would be no way you could actually hold that up without it just, like, tipping over.
Without it tipping over or something. Yeah, because we know from reference.
Yeah, we know from reference.
Oh, yeah.
And just from common sense, but... But, yeah, anyway. So, we're starting the lining now. Lining this actually wasn't too hard. It wasn't too hard. I just separated it out into layers. Like, it's like, okay, so Emma and Nico are on lines 1. The people, like, first layer of people is lines 2. Lines 3 is the people over here on the table. And then lines 4 was, people way in the background. And it actually ended up being kind of nice because as the people go back into the background, I ended up coloring the lines very slightly just to give it a little bit more of that illusion that they're going into the background. And it ended up working out really, really well. Oh, and this Emma face, I thought it would be really funny to have this face in here, sort of mirroring Nico's from a few pages earlier.
A few pages ago when she steps out from changing.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was intentional in the beginning, but it just kind of ended up being that way.
It kind of, I don't know. Like, the first original, like, drawing of the face was kind of, it had big eyes.
Right.
And I was like, oh, yeah, her mouth will just kind of be open, like her jaw's dropping. Yeah. Right? But then I thought about it later. I was like, I should make it look exactly like Nico's face. From page, I don't know, was it like 18 or something?
Yeah, I think so.
Whatever it was. But yeah, it ended up looking really funny. I just want to like take both of them, kind of put them together.
Stick them next to each other?
Yeah, just stick them right next to each other.
You guys might see that soon. We're thinking
I have a feeling somebody will do it before me, though. Like, someone will see that face. Someone will see it and be like, yeah. Oh, yeah, because we brought it up. I forgot. We're releasing this with the page, too. So
tonight.
We're releasing it tonight in about one and a half hours.
Perfect.
See, it's midnight. It's midnight our time, but it's actually 11 o'clock in California.
So we have till 1.
Californians get it an hour early. No, I just do it 12 here.
Just do it 12?
Just do it midnight, because I don't want to stay up till 1.
Not me either.
I'm
going to crash after
I got something to do around. I'm really tired.
Awesome. Well, you want to talk about, like, the band? I remember you were asking me, like, about the band and the piano and stuff earlier.
Yeah. Well, some of the things, we were actually thinking about adding some music to it, because I always wanted to add music to the comic, like a little button that you'd press. And we were actually looking at some waltz music, and I was like, none of these songs have a piano in it.
And he drew a piano.
And I drew a piano, and these are all, like, stringed instruments. It's like a whole orchestra, and, like, people are not going to like it. They're not going to like it, because clearly there's a piano.
Yeah, obviously.
And you were like, I think you're just overthinking it. Like, you know what? I'm just not ready. I'm not ready to put music
obviously,
in there.
I'm not ready to
let's just focus on finishing the page. Let's just finish the page, and then we'll worry about all that stuff. Okay, so, all right. Gradient mapping, super fun.
That reminds me of like a coloring book.
Hopefully it didn't
just the lines.
Yeah.
Maybe we could release Emma coloring pages.
Oh, that would be pretty fun.
That'd be and you
for
like,
children.
Put them
the children's book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So this is basically how I start my backgrounds. I lay everything out in just black and white, and then I start doing gradient maps. It's really, really cool. Awesome tool that allows you to instantly get a feeling of what your color palette is going to be and the mood of your background. So I actually use a lot of golds and yellows, and then as you can see, as you go to the shadows, get into more like kind of like these purples and blues. And then once that's laid down, then I go in and add in sort of like a third color.
Mm-hmm.
I've found that all I really need to add is just like one more color to start to make it look really nice. And in this case, it's red. And then the green of the leaves at the top
And the roses
really
and
just
things like
kind
that,
of brings it all together. And it kind of hides the fact that it's just a gradient map. Because it's so monochromatic. That's the only thing that's bad. I wouldn't do just the gradient map because then it's just yellow and purple.
Right.
And it's too obvious. But you can hide it. You can hide the evidence.
Cheat the system.
And then take all the credit for it. Be like, yes, I'm a master of mixing colors. It was all me. It's all me.
I painted this.
I painted this all myself. Didn't have any help from the computer. No. So, yeah. Yeah, this part was actually really fun, like painting all the people. I was like, oh, man. Okay, so should I have a separate layer for all the dark hair and then all the medium hair and all the light hair? I was like, no, let's just put it all on one layer. I did the same with the skin. And it ended up not being that bad. I was like,
I like that guy's mustache.
Yeah, I know, right? I like that guy.
Yeah.
It's like Deeb's. It's Deeb's with short hair. With short hair and now he's a waiter.
Slick back.
Actually, that's supposed to be. Maybe that's me. Maybe that was like my attempt at like putting myself into the picture. That's me like at Olive Garden.
At Olive Garden. Hating his life.
All too obvious. Yeah, I'm like,
should have made a chat bubble for him. I was like, man, I could be writing a comic right now.
Yeah, that'll be the secret one.
Yeah,
the next mumbling to himself.
Yeah, mumbly grumbly. So I think the next thing that was another big problem was like the chandelier because it's the real big. It's a real big centerpiece.
Yeah,
but there just wasn't like enough. Like it looks really good now, but there just wasn't enough. And whenever I'd come check out the page, I was like, this looks awesome. But it's like,
the chandelier had something. There was something to be desired with the chandelier, and I just kept looking up references, and I was like, you know what? The thing that makes chandeliers cool is that they just have tons of little tiny things just like hanging everywhere. Little pendants, little I don't know, just like things just constantly stringing from it.
Yeah.
In fact, some of the chandeliers I looked at, I was like, whoa, like these are crazy chandeliers.
Dude,
like, I need to make mine look cooler.
Some of the things that
I need to make mine look way cooler.
Like I've heard of chandeliers costing like several $100,000. Like you could buy a house for how much like a chandelier costs.
Wow, that's crazy.
All I know is that, like in some of the buildings that I've been in and stuff, they'll be like, "Oh, and this chandelier is worth $250,000," and I'm just like,
"Wow,
what?
Jeez,
what?
That's crazy.
It's crazy."
I wonder how much this one's worth.
Probably a lot more than that.
A lot of time
because it's huge.
It took a lot of time to make this.
It's big. Like if you imagine it takes up that much of the ceiling.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah, like I said, I feel like it really started to come together once I started adding in these little strings going right through there, and then these pendants hanging down. I feel like that really kind of sealed.
Yeah, and you lined the ceiling some more because we were looking at my Last of Us art book, man.
And
that thing
is awesome.
I was looking through that this morning and kind of thinking of some more references and stuff for for the comic, and we stumbled upon this page where in the game, if you haven't played it, there's a part where they go inside of this like ballroom, and it was supposed to be set up for like prom. But obviously the infection happened and stuff. But it's supposed to be set up for prom, and
is it at the school? Oh.
No. It wasn't at the school. It was at like it was at a hotel. Because when you go to prom, you go to a hotel.
Oh, okay.
And so it was at a hotel.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, there's like a banner or something.
Yeah, and there's like a banner and there's a piano, but there was like a lot of stuff on the ceiling. So you're like, I'm gonna try to put some more things on the ceiling.
Yeah, there's a little bit more detail. There's like levels to the ceiling.
Yeah.
And even though I just added this little a little step, a little wedge going through there, and it added a lot to it.
Yeah.
Because I still wanted to keep it fairly simple, but I really like the way the stage turned out. Yeah. I just realized though that I forgot to add a mic on there, but I don't think we need it. It might look kind of weird if it was just like sticking.
Just a mic stand. I think it'll be fine. I think it'd be better.
Yeah.
Not that we need a mic.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Why would we need a mic? Why would we need that?
Need one.
I was seriously about to say what was gonna happen.
Yeah, me too. I was just gonna be like, because, and then I was like,
oh shoot. Okay, so anyway, changing the subject. Yeah, the chandelier.
Anyways, the chandelier looks great. It's worth $250,000.
Yeah, this is really awesome. And I was really happy with how Nico turned out in this. Like I said it in the last one, but I'm really starting to enjoy drawing Nico, and I feel like I'm getting a handle on just making him look really good. Like,
yeah,
he looks. I mean, I know he's an anime character, but I was like, he looks handsome.
He's a good looking.
He's a good looking anime dude.
He's a good looking. Good
looking kid. Yeah.
Yeah. Non-fiction character.
Yeah, I like it. He looked handsome. So, and Deebs came up to me and he was like, hey, I noticed that Nico's hair is like getting lighter and lighter as the comic goes on. I was like, oh, that's just because when he's in this mode, his hair's supposed to be like clean,
right?
So it's like lighter,
not like dirty. And
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Like normally it's just like all greasy and like matted, so it's dark. So the character's hair just naturally will get brighter in the
everything gets
in the fantasy.
Literally everything will get brighter. Like Emma's hair is kind of like a lighter brown, kind of blonde, but when it's in reality, it's pretty dark.
Yeah, and that's about it
for the time lapse.
That is it. That's it for the time lapse. Now let's go back to this.
And the dialogue was so hard for this.
Dude, dialogue. Oh, man. How long did we sit on this for? We sat on this for
at least 5-10 seconds.
Yeah.
It was pretty easy. I mean,
well, actually, we did change it. No, originally, it was just gonna be.
Even though there's
what
not,
do you think?
Yeah, even though there's not a lot, you still gotta. There's still character there. You still have to build character. You know, every line is still important. So originally, it was supposed to be like, oh, what do you think? And then he put it. Yeah, he put it in there, and I was just like, you know what? I'm not feeling that.
Let's like, something else.
Let's try this, and we tried something else. I don't remember.
It made like a perfect square, and one thing that I really hate in comics is when you lay out the dialogue and every word just like makes a square.
It makes like
it's a lot nicer when it's rounded like this, or it makes like a diamond shape. But yeah, so what do you think? Literally made a square.
Made a square. I didn't notice that, but he was like,
it's not gonna work. But anyway, we ended up changing it to this, which I like a lot more. See, told you it's
like,
special.
See, told you it's nothing special. But then you go over to the second page and she's just losing her mind.
Yeah, I really like the way these roses turned out. I was like, man, I can paint roses like a boss.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of like an accident. I was like, oh, whoops. And I was like, whoa, hey, that looks really good. I'm just going to do that on everyone. I'm going to do that on every single rose in here. And it ended up looking really nice.
Nice. Yeah, I was going to say, this looked really good.
Yeah, I like this guy. This guy reminds me of somebody that I used to work with.
I like his nose, his nostrilius.
Yeah. He reminds me of somebody I used to work with at Olive Garden. I can't remember his name, though. But I'm really happy with how these people are all dancing back here, and I feel like I'm starting to get a lot better with body language, and just like this conductor guy back here. Even though it's so small, there's a lot of like action and character happening within these poses, and that's something that I've always like had a challenge with. Not to mention backgrounds, like oh man, like if you ask me,
this is a serious background.
If you asked me to do this at the beginning of the comic, I would be like, what the heck are you thinking? Like, you can't do that.
Are you insane?
I can't do that. You know. But now it's like, I don't know. I just feel like when you lay it out, especially with the perspective grid in the beginning, it just makes everything so much easier. You got to build on top of a solid foundation, and like I said, the perspective grid really, really helped.
They're gonna say prescription.
Prescription
grid. I'm gonna prescribe everyone to use a perspective grid in your art,
and read perspective for comic book artists, because that's where I learned to do this.
Maybe I should do that. My perspective is whack.
Really helped out a lot. See, look at that. It's subtle 2 point. See, the vanishing point is like way over.
Yeah,
way over on the left side somewhere.
Way over yonder.
But makes all the difference. Subconsciously.
What's funny though is he mentioned it before is we've been thinking and talking about this page since before they got to the gas station. Like, I remember I just barely started working on it, and he was like, "Man, we got this scene coming up." And the ball, and it's gonna be amazing. The ball, and all these pictures, and get inspired. I remember you'd have all these pictures. Like you wouldn't even be working on that scene, but you'd have like all the pictures up in a separate window.
Yeah, I was just ready.
And then he would listen to Mozart while he was drawing.
I was ready to go.
He was ready for it.
I was so excited to do this.
I remember I was stoked when we were gonna first do the cruise ship.
Yeah, man.
And that was over a year ago. That was when I worked at Journeys, and that was over a year ago when we were just barely getting to the cruise ship.
Yeah. Cruise ship originally was going to be something way later in the comic. And I was like, I thought about it more, and I was like, dude, what kind of zombie comic has a cruise ship? Like, we need to put that in, like, right now. So.
It worked out. Yeah, obviously it worked out great.
And there's still a lot more that we have to learn about the ship coming up.
Like the microphone.
Like the microphone. There's a microphone.
There's a lot of good stuff.
You didn't expect that.
Lots of good stuff about the good old cruise ship coming up. So that's good.
So I think that's going to be good. I think we can end it there. Do you have anything else you wanted to say?
The World of Warcraft pool party.
Oh, that was awesome. Yes, thank you guys for coming to that.
A bunch of you guys showed up. It was a lot of fun. I got ditched though. You guys were running. He was like,
"Were you already there?"
Oh yeah.
Your other character.
Yeah. So what happened was he was like, "Hey, make a character so you can run with us." And I was like, all right, sounds good. So I'm waiting around. All these people show up. And then I was in the room with Keenan. And he was like, all right, we're ready to run. So I ran back to my desk, but they had already left. And they were just enough far ahead that I couldn't catch up. And I was just like,
well, poor you.
It's like, what the heck? And then I showed up and there was
Next
just
time,
me
you
and
gotta
one
be on
other
the ball.
person. And it was really awkward. Like, I went over and I like sat down in the beach chair. And then they like chatted me and they were like, you
Like,
come
yo,
here
what's up?
often? And it was a girl.
Really?
Yeah, it was a girl. And I was
Did
just
she
like,
stick around?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, there was
Who
like,
was it?
it was somebody that was waiting for the party.
Oh,
like,
okay.
she was already there.
Cool.
And so I like went and sat like on one of the beach chairs. It was just really funny. She's like, "You come here often?" I was like, "Once a month." So
Nice,
yeah, guys are awesome.
All right. Yeah. Thank you guys for joining us for another Director's Commentary.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see you on the next page. Till then, take care.